Legislative Weekly Update. Today we're going to be talking about the budget again. As you know, we talked a little bit about the budget last week. This week, it completely blew up. As you've been watching in the news or you've been reading on Twitter, it's just been crazy, crazy. So I am going to just talk about what's going to happen this week, where we're at the legislative in the legislative process with the budget, and where we're going to go. So just a really quick rewind. Last week, on the 20th, the Senate came out with their budget. Now, before that, the House came out with our budget. It was a structurally sound conservative fiscal budget, and the governor said that she was going to veto that budget. Went over to the Senate, sat over there. 20th, last week, last Friday, the Senate came out with their budget, 1735, SB 1735, and the total dollars was $17.8 billion, which we expected that, and I kind of told everybody about that. Now, this week, we came into a colossal just being bombarded with this budget process. Friday, we adjourned to today. Now, we had a closed caucus last week. Now, I can't get into the nitty-gritty of the closed caucus, but I can give you the 90,000-foot arc of what the plan is going forward. Now, we had three options that we could choose from. One, a baseline budget, and that is a budget that strictly pays the bills, keeps the lights on. Two, a structurally sound, mingled budget with the 1735, the Senate version that we have, and the third one, it was a combination of all three, from what I believe. Now, the caucus decided to go with the baseline budget. The baseline budget, again, basically pays the bills, funds K through 12, so on and so forth. You get where I'm going with this. With that, Monday comes today. We go on the floor, we have three bills. Now, I will tell you that the government closes next Monday. Okay, next Monday. So the process today went to the floor. There were 3 or 4 third reads, and tomorrow is when we really start ramping up for this. Now, this is where it gets kind of icky, if you will. Tomorrow we are going to be hearing an appropriations meeting at 10 a.m. the baseline budget. That baseline budget will be vetoed. Governor Hobbs has already said that. She is going to veto the baseline. Okay? Anything that is not 1735, she is going to veto. We're going to get into what 1735 does for the district as well. Now, last week, when I looked at the overarching theme of the budget, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. Let's pump the brakes. Okay? So tomorrow, folks, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., we're going to be doing the baseline budget in, let me see if I got this right. Yeah, the baseline budget in our appropriations meeting. All you got to do is go to www.azledge.gov, click on live proceedings, and then go to the approps meeting. We have, I think, 12 bills that encompass the baseline. That baseline will be voted out of the appropriations, go to rules, then it will floor. Okay, I am hoping that bill goes to the floor tomorrow, after appropriations and after the rules. It's second read, which is a committee of the whole. We debate, go back and forth, and then we flip that bill, that baseline bill, either Tuesday night or Wednesday. If it gets flipped Wednesday, it's voted on. There'll be a bunch of debates or explanations of folks' vote. Then it's going to go over to the Senate. Now we're talking Thursday now. Is the soonest that baseline budget bill will be able to be heard in the Senate. That's if they hear it. Now, since the governor is going to veto the baseline bill, and I know what you're thinking, well, why are we hearing the baseline bill if the governor is going to veto it? We want to present to the executive a responsible, conservative baseline bill to keep the lights on, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be able to be conservative and responsible in that. We know the bill's going to get vetoed. All right, now we're talking Thursday. Now, what I see happening, could be wrong, what I see happening is that 1735 that was passed out of the Senate on the 20th, that is sitting in the House, will begin to start working on that with amendments or what have you in the Appropriations Committee. So we'll turn around, go back to the drawing board, go to Approps again, incorporate any new amendments or any tweaks that we need to do. Now, this is just me thinking. This is the world according to Walt. We'll do any tweaks. It'll go to rules. It'll go to floor. It's agreed upon. In the meantime, the House and the Senate are talking about the tweaks or the amendments that need to happen to 1735, the bill that made it out of the Senate, SB 735. They're going back and forth. Okay, we can deal with that. Goes on the board for a cow. We cow it. If everybody's on board with that, hopefully this is still Thursday, but we could be moving into Friday at this point. We third read it, flip it. When I say flip it, we go to cow, then we flip it over to third reading. All we need to do is get a waiver of the rules from that, a motion to waive the rules. And instead of waiting the 3 days, we can actually get this thing pumped out most 2 days. Minimum one is what we try to do. So it's flipped, third read, we vote on it. Goes back over to the Senate. Everything that the Senate has agreed on from their original bill, SB 1735, bam. They vote on it, goes to the governor, and hopefully she will sign the bill that is the conservative structured bill after the work has been done by both caucuses to go to the governor's desk for a signature. Now, we are looking, I am thinking we will be done probably by Friday. Okay, and I'm just throwing that date out there because of how the process. We can be done as early as, I think, Wednesday, early Thursday morning, or Friday, just depending on how things go. Okay, now I have faith that the leadership on both sides are going to be, let me see this. Sorry about that, y'all. I have faith that both sides are going to be talking so we can get this done. We can get it done. We can keep the lights on, or just fund the government under the new appropriated dollars of $17.8 billion for this year's budget. Now, let me go into SB 1735 and what it brings to LD7, rural Arizona. Because I think it's important for you all to see this, because this may be the final project. Now, this is the world according to Representative Black. Okay, Representative Black. So let me get into that really quickly. I gotta put my spectacles on so I can make sure I can see it. Well, like these are my BCGs. If you're in the military, you know what BCGs. You know what that is. Okay, let me get into this really quickly. Hold on. Let me get into this with you all. All right. Now, I am going to show you what's in this budget, 1735. Okay, let's talk about K through 12 funding. Okay, K through 12 funding is this is the breakdown of K through 12 funding according to 1735. Okay, fully funds K through 12 funding, 29 million statewide, proportionally distributed between all the 15 counties. Okay, the total package of the um, funding mechanisms for K through 12, the total package, we're talking north of $8 billion. Okay, now, as you can see, Pinal, Navajo County, Coconino County, and Gila will receive our fair share of the $29 million. It's going to be $29 million of the educational K through 12 funding. $29 million of dollars. $29 million of that is going into LD7 for K through 12. One-time third year low income rate is going to be $37 million statewide. It's going to be, if we look at the top part where it says $29 million, it's going to be proportion pretty much the same way. Go down to K through 12 transportation formula study. That is going to receive extra dollars. We look at the external grants that we'll be getting for K through 12 in LD7. We're talking $500,000. We're also talking in Pinal County, particularly the AJ areas, 10% of the state student count. We're looking at between the next additional $3 to $6 million. We're looking at the AJ areas. We're looking at the Florence, Goat Canyon, so on and so forth. One-time K through 12 grants. Okay, and then when we look in the Coconino, Navajo, and Gila, they're smaller shares. However, they are not left out. They will get some funding. When we talk about transportation, K through 12 transportation, as we know, after COVID, kids started going back to school. Now, typically, school districts would get $100,000 for the transportation coming out of the K through 12. Okay, those formulas are going to start back up. Okay, so SB 1737, which is part of the 1735. 1735 is the fee bill, and the other bill, 1737, transportation. Okay, so we're looking at Pinal, we're looking at Gila, we're looking at Payson, Globe. We are looking at, for example, Pinal area, in AJ, Florence, and Goat Canyon is actually with that Coolidge, those Coolidge dollars, $5.3 million going there. To Globe, $3.5 million for sidewalks, and Payson, $1.5 million for a roundabout. Also, the funding that is going through Coconino, Navajo region, and Payson, Gila County, and Coconino, there are other dollars that are going there. Forestry, as we know, we are getting close to the fire season. We're already in it. We had a fire last week or last month. So in our area alone, in northern Arizona, where the fires are, we have the Wildfire Mitigation Fund, which Dave and I fought for. This fund right here is a fund that Sylvia Allen kind of drove when she was in. We talked about it a little bit when we were in. $27.1 million statewide. We will get our share of that. Gila, Pinal, Coconino, and Navajo will get our share of that. And then we'll get an additional $30 million wildfire suppression fund, non-lapsing. What non-lapsing means is that it's not going to run out because fire season is devastating. So Dave and I were able to work and get that for LD7, and that's really important. Elections. I saw a feed the other day. Someone said our representatives need to be talking about elections and doing this. So we are looking at the actual policies, and we can go to the website and look at the policies that we have written for elections. Okay, go to www.azreg.gov. You can click on my profile, or you can click on Representative Marshall's profile, and you will see the election bills that we ran. So there are election bills that we have ran this past session. It's something that we know it's important to everybody, and we know that it's important to make sure we get the basic funding there, but we have to put the policies in place. So just go to azledge.gov and you can check that out. Okay. Public safety, that's a big deal. So the RAMS, a record management system, is a system that actually enhances public safety in our communities in LD7. So we take a look at the RAM system, okay, Pinal County Sheriff's Office, that also includes AJ, Gold Canyon, Florence, those areas in that area, part of LD7. We're talking about $500,000. Coconino, $47,000 for the Sheriff's Department there. Gila and Navajo is not listed. However, Gila Sheriff's Department will get $500,000 to be able to enhance their public safety programs. Gila County will get, and Payson and Detail will get a new substation for DPS, so they will have additional on-the-ground Department of Public Safety office in Payson. Where that's going to be in Payson, I do not know, but the substation is going there. When we're talking about the Peace Officers Training Equipment Fund, that's something that Dave and I worked on. That is $12,000 to Coconino, and also license plates readers, $115,000 to Coconino. Now, some may be saying, well, why is Coconino getting all this money? Coconino does not have those systems. They don't have those systems. And there is a problem with retention, and there's a problem with recruitment. So we want to make sure that those folks are able to exercise their public safety and people are safe. Now, you also have to remember, if you got a kid going to NAU, money is going to the NAU Police Department so they can enhance their security structures to keep our kids safe. Now, you see on the bottom, there's no funding listed for Pinal, Navajo, and Gila for the Peace Officers Training Equipment. Okay, that other money is still going to those counties. Gila, projects in Gila, the money that's going to Navajo, also the money that's going to Pinal County. Also, the sheriffs came to us and talked to us about coordinated reentry planning grants. Now, this is opiate related. So the AG received, won their lawsuit, they received a ton of money back for the opioid case. Now, within that, we were able to get $8 million, $2 million per county in our districts to do this. Now, sheriff's departments are going to build a program that is similar to Yavapai County, which is a nationally renowned, known reentry program that, number one, drives the crime rate down, keeps people out of prison from returning to prisons, and the programs are funded through grants. Now, you may be saying, well, why do I care about that? Well, your tax dollars go into the DOC budget, the funding. That is the second largest budget item that we have is the Department of Corrections. Okay, north of $2 billion go there. The first is education. So the more that we can drive down costs, we can keep people out from returning to prison, the lower the budget cost is going to. We'll see on the budgets, and these folks will stay out of jail. So all the sheriff's departments asked for these fundings. Dave and I were able to get $2 million apiece, so our sheriffs can dip into those funds and use the money that they need. The tribal and public safety via treasurer, that I just want to put on there. The Gila County River Police Department, as you know, that's part of our district. They're getting $200K, and also their fire department is getting an additional $200K. Pay raises for law enforcement. So this is where I am kind of, I want to give money to our local police and our sheriff's departments. So deputy sheriff's compensation will get a one-time $48 million statewide across the counties proportional shared based on the count. So Pinal County, Navajo, Gila, they will all benefit from this compensation one-time payment. So it's sort of like a bonus for our law enforcement because, as I said before, we do have a retention, we have a recruitment issue. So we want to make sure that we are keeping the best and the brightest in our Sheriff's Department. Agency-wide salary benefit adjustments. So that is $244 million. That's an increase. Again, all of the counties, Dave and I were able to grab some of that money, get it into the district, LD7, so we can make sure that our law enforcement, they are being taken care of. So just a summary table of what I talked about. So Pinal, $3 to $6 million for K through K-12, correction, K-12 one-time funding, okay? We have the K-12 formula study, and that's an ADE study, okay? All counties will benefit from that. We were able to grab some grants for LD7 schools transportation. We're going to get $5.3 million down in the Coolidge. Forestry, we talked about that. The RAMS system, as I was talking about. Let me pull this up a little bit so everybody can kind of see this. Okay, I hope you can see that. Reentry grants, $2 million for each county. As you know, the tribes are not getting that, but they are $200K. And pay raises, deputy bonuses for Pinal, Coconino, Navajo, and Gila. And that affects Apache Junction and all those areas that Dave and I represent. So we were able to pull a lot of programming and resources from these counties. Now, some other things that I want to talk to you about that are not on here, much needed additional resources for child development outside of K through 12. So Snowflake Taylor, as you know, Navajo County is a child development desert. Okay, we have no child development other than private onesies and twosies child development center or private businesses to take our kids to so people can go to work. So we were able to grab $1.5 million that will go to Taylor, Arizona. It'll go through their city council. They will bid on contracts to build a child development center. Once that child development center is built, okay, it is ready to go. There is a partnership with NPC because NPC now has a baccalaureate program in child development. Now, how did we fund that? We were able to get an additional $500,000 to go to the NPC, so the bachelor program, which is in its initial stages, they can make sure that they have the funding for that. Internships through NPC to the Child Development Center. Now, it's real easy math, okay? Right now, a person does not have a way to have a center watch their children, okay? Since that person doesn't have a way to do that, they cannot go to work, which increases our poverty level and unemployment level because people can't go to work. Only if it's a single family household, I don't know how they're doing it, God bless them. If it's a two-family household, only one person, if they are in the ages where they need those programs, only one person can go to work. And as you know, it's crazy inflation out there. Prices are high. Now, with that center, we are going to see the poverty rate drop and the employment rate rise because parents will have a place to send their kids. Additionally, we will get a $350,000 for a youth program center for our kids. As you know, in that area, Snowflake and Taylor, what do the kids do on the weekends? If it's not football season, they're going to hang out to Sonic, okay? The program not only has early evening programs, which I am going to advocate that they get these things in there. It's going to have after-school program, mentorship programs. It's going to have study programs. It's going to have college recruiting days. They're going to do a bunch of stuff for our kids so they're not just hanging out at Sonic. Now, let's shift down to Apache Junction. Apache Junction has a program. It's K through 8 robotics. Okay, Apache Junction school district has been paying, scraping up dollars to run this K through 8 robotics program. We were able to get, hold your horses, 200 grand for this program. Why is that important? Here you go. The kids, studies have found that kids that are in CTE programs succeed. There's a higher rate of graduation, and there's a higher rate of people, those kids getting jobs, okay, in their career technical education fields. A study, it's a brand new program at Apache Junction Elementary School where kindergarten kids all the way to 8th grade are learning robotics. So by the time they get to high school, they're subject matter experts in whatever field, coding, robotics, whatever they're doing, they are subject matter experts, and they tend to do more in that field, the technical field of robotics. Why robotics? Robotics is exploding along with AI. So we are giving our kids a boost up in our district by ensuring that we have the dollars and the resources to watch this program, the kids grow, and follow them as they go through the high school and through when they get out, when they get out of school, okay? That is a program that I'll be watching closely because the success rate and what I've seen in AJ in that school, those kids are spot on, Johnny on the spot. I want to incorporate that into all our district throughout LD7. Okay. Dave also is aware of this. He signed on to the bill as a co-sponsor. It's a great way to get our kids the upper boost that they need. So that's down in AJ that we are getting. Not even talking about roads. We are getting millions of dollars in road correction. A little north over billions of dollars. I think it's like a billion and some change in just road projects in LD7. Okay, transportation issues are big in LD7. As you know, when you're coming down 277, they're always working on that. If you're going through the canyon, they're always trying to work on that. If you're going up to 17, up through Flagstaff, there's always some sort of work, okay, on these major highways. So we were able to grab some dollars and put them into our programs for transportation, roads, infrastructure, bridges, and LD7. Also, Wolford Road and Show Road will get funded. Why is that important? And Dave, Representative Marshall, led the way on that. I want to thank him for his leadership on that, to get that thing funded, because there's only one way in or out. And if there is a fire back in that area, that is a safety issue concern. The people came to Dave and I. They came to Dave first because he led the way on this to get that road funded. Okay, those dollars have been secured. The Wolford Road project. So those are dollars that are going to be going in the show road. We got dollars that are going to go to Lakeside and also Pine Top, and we're talking about their resources and their school programs. And we've also have been funding, looking at ways to fund our Arizona Rangers. Okay, so what I'd like to do when you saw that peace officer training, I want to try to get our Arizona Rangers in our area an opportunity to go to some of those things. Now, that's the 90,000 foot. Now, that is in SB 1735. And that's not even counting Senator Rogers' projects. She has projects in that bill as well. Okay? Those are projects that came from the House. 1735 is a bill that we need. Now, let me tell you, at first when I saw this, again, I was like, whoa, that's kind of big. But looking at our districts from the 90,000 foot of 175,000 people and the real issues that we have for infrastructure, internet infrastructure, transportation, school funding, I went through it. Okay? It's important that we get the funding to keep up with the rest of the state. Now, a lot of folks will say, we need to stop letting the great state of Maricopa dictate our funding, okay, or take dollars from us. Now, when I came into office, the first time I came into office, I said that we will make sure that we have a seat at the table. And that's exactly what this is, a seat at the table. For example, the $500,000 that just in the public safety aspect of that's going down in the Pinal, the Florence, the Gold Canyon, the Pinal County Sheriff's Department, that is more dollars, $500,000, that is more dollars than any other lawmaker has brought to that district. And we've only had redistricting for 6 years. That's just in that aspect of $500,000 public safety that Dave and I brought to that area. Before then, not saying anything wrong about the other folks that were representing that, they didn't have that. They didn't get those fundings. We made a commitment to Apache Junction, to Gold Canyon, to Florence, to those areas that we picked up when we transitioned to LD7, and we made a commitment to make sure that they got their share of the pie, to include the $200,000 that's going to AJ Elementary School District for the K through 8 robotics program, and not to mention the road projects that are going on down there. We have road projects that are going in Gila County out to Miami and those areas out there. Globe. We've got money going out there for road projects, infrastructure projects. Okay, so that's 17. That's 1735. That is the bill that came from the Senate. Now, again, when I first saw it, I was like, it's too big. But when I saw it, I drove down on it. I saw that every single thing that we asked for that was needed immediately for our district, when I came back in this past year, it was in there. It was in this budget. I thought it was just bloated with a bunch of other things. Okay? Now, I give hats off and props where it is due. Senator Rogers. Now, let me back up. People have said that this bill is driven by a 1735 that came out of the Senate, is a Democrat bill. That's the narrative. That is a false narrative. That is a false narrative. Now, I know I'll probably get beat up from some of the hawks. That is a false narrative. Okay? The job of a legislator is to make sure that our districts have the resources. Okay? And that we have a piece of the pie in rural Arizona. Now, Senator Wendy Rogers, a conservative, voted yes on this Senate legislation. Did you fall out your chair? And that's not counting the projects that she is bringing to the district. I want you to think about that for a minute. She voted yes on 1735. I have moved my no vote to the yes vote calendar or box. Why is that? I'm still going to try to push the baseline. However, reality, the governor says she's not going to sign off on the baseline. So what do I need to do? I need to make sure that our piece of the pie comes back to our district. Okay? It comes back to the district. Your lawmakers in LD7, we are doing the job that you sent us up there to do. Much needed funding and resources are coming to our district. Now, here is what's going to happen in the election. I don't know if Rogers will get hit, okay, but she did, and I can't believe that I'm saying this. Senator Rogers went to bat for the district. She went to bat for the district. She did. Whether you know, she went to bat. And I'm going to follow that lead on that. Okay? So I give credit where is due. Now, this is what's going to happen. Free enterprises are going to come after me because I am bringing much needed dollars along with Senator Rogers to the district. Free enterprises are going to come after me. What's the Turning Point? They're going to come after me. The Freedom Caucus, they're going to come after me. They are going to send ads into the districts, and they are going to say, Walt Blackman voted on a Democrat bill, which is false. It is a Republican-driven bill with bipartisan support to make sure that Arizonans, particularly in rural Arizona, are not left out. You will see that stuff come in the mail. You'll hear it on Twitter. You're going to hear it on the floor. You will hear that. That is what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to attack me. And I don't know if they'll go after Senator Rogers, but I know they're coming after me because I've heard it, because I'm doing my job. And my job is to make sure that I leave our district better than what I found it. We need the resources, we need the dollars, we need to make sure we got money for funding, for school, for programs, for roads, for forestry, pay raises to law enforcement, for fire suppression. These are all things that we need. So if they want to call me a rhino or go after me because I am actually doing my job along with Dave Marshall and Senator Rogers, if they want to do that, then guess what? I guess I'm a rhino, but guess what? I am taking care of my responsibilities in the district of what I was elected to do. Plain and simple. My job is to make sure that we have a seat at the table, and that when we leave that table, we are taking something from that buffet, because we've been left out for too many years. And this year, we've got a lot of resources coming into LD7. So I think I kind of went over. I will put this out in my newsletter that's going to be coming out. I want to show you where you can go find some of this on our web pages. Segue into something that's going on with Representative Marshall. You may have already heard he is running for the Corporation Commission, which I got to tell you, my hat's off to him, because that is a big commitment. So if you're in LD7, make sure that you go to his new webpage. I'm going to put it up here so you can sign his petition and you can donate to his campaign. Now, he is running on single elections. He needs a signature and he needs a $5 commitment. Okay? A $5 commitment. Make sure you get that, because we're talking statewide. We're talking, he's got to go all over the state to get this. Okay? I know that Dave's going to do a good job if he gets the opportunity to get into that seat. Okay, we already see that rates are sky high. I even went over to the Corp Comment today to talk to some of those folks over there. Why are we raising the prices on Corp? Okay, they weren't there. However, we need somebody in there that is going to, again, have a seat at the table and protect rural Arizona. I'm going to bring up Representative Marshall's website, www.marshall.vote. I'll bring up his website for you so you can see it. Where is it at? Here we go. Let me share that with you. You go to www.marshall.vote. Marshall.vote. And as you see, he is running for the Arizona Corporation Commission. Again, if you want to volunteer, you go on the Dave site and you just click the volunteer, and it'll go to that part of the site. And we've got people from the district that I think this was his first year. Oh, no, this was, wow. I think that's when Dave first got in. I'm not sure. Folks from the district that have helped them out. So we got some people there. If you want to stay up to date on what Dave is doing, it's Ralph Heath. They are running as a team. You just fill it out, and it'll go to his inbox, so he can get that help. Again, he's running statewide. It's a big deal. So if you want to volunteer for Representative Marshall's team, you go to his website, you click on volunteer. This screen's going to come up. You put your name and all that, fill it out. Write down what you want. Do you want to meet? You want to do a meet and greet? You want to knock on doors? You want to make calls? You want to do text? Anything to help him. That is a huge race. He is running statewide. We need to ensure that Dave gets on the ballot. He gets on the ballot by signatures and also by the $5 donations, because he is running clean elections. Let's make sure that we take care of my good buddy Dave Marshall. And I just want to say something. People who get us confused, Dave has a beard, and he is lighter than I am, and that's it. But people get us confused. But I just want to put that out there. You can also go to Dave's. You'll learn more about him. Again, please go to his website and help my good buddy out. So he is. We can get him in there. This real quick. If you want to go to my site, let me pull this up. We're almost done. Hang on. Here we go. You want to go to my site. Again, you can go to www.votewaltb.com. You can go to my website. Okay, don't look like Dave. Okay, don't got a beard. Again, you need my petitions also signed. You just go to the home page, click on Sign My Petitions. It'll automatically scoot you over to the Secretary of State website. That's go.azsos.gov. And when it comes up, my internet is running kind of slow. But till we get back, let me go back to that. You click that, and my petition will come up, and you can sign it. We are trying to get all our petitions online. Here we go, right here. We're trying to get all our petitions online. You just go there and you sign my petition. We need to be on the ballot. If we're not on the ballot, we can't do the kind of work that we did for you this past session. Put your information in there, and it will go as part of our petitions. If you want to know what's going on, you want to know the policies we're talking about, border security, what we're doing about that, the endorsements. If you want to know what's going on, if you missed something like a live legislative update, you just go to more, okay? You can go to the projects that we're working on, the links for AGGOP, so on and so forth. You go to LD7 newsletter, you click on that, and the newsletter, this is last month's, you just put your name in there, and then bam, it'll scoot off to the newsletter, and you'll be able to be a subscriber to that. You'll be able to get that newsletter. It'll send you to another link to be able to get there. If you want to donate, of course, please hit my donate sign. Marshall, again, we got to get the $5 and the signature signed for him. And one more thing, if you want to have me come out and talk about, do a meet, if you would want to host a meet and greet, if you want to connect on Zoom, your group, you want to connect on Zoom, you want to do some online stuff, you want to do an online legislative update, all you need to do is click on one of these nice tabs. It'll come to me, and I will do a legislative update for your group online, so they really don't have to go anywhere. Again, if you also want to listen into the podcast, what we do down at the legislature, you can go there in the projects. Again, we do the mock sessions. So you can either go to my good buddy Dave's page. He's running for, again, the Arizona Corporation Commission, or you can go to my page and you can be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Everybody, I'm Rob Blackman. I hope that was enough information for you to be able to digest. Again, tomorrow, 10 a.m., go to www.azledge.gov. Do I got that website? Let me see if I got that website. Sorry about that, y'all. Go to www.azledge.gov. I'll put it on my Twitter tonight. Tune in if you can to the Appropriations Committee. Tune in. That's going to give you the deep dive of everything that we are doing when we're talking about that baseline, and then continue to watch. That's 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, www.azledge.gov. And again, thanks for all your support. Thanks for the petitions that we've already were able to receive from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so grateful. Dave is out doing his campaign stuff. I think he's out doing his campaign stuff because, again, he's got 6 million people that he's got to get in front of if he can. And I only have 175,000. So everybody take care. God bless. I'm Rob Blackman. Have a great evening. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you hit the knees and pray when you have to. And we appreciate your prayers and everything you do for us. On behalf of Representative Dave Marshall and myself, okay, I'm Dave Marshall right now, and I'm Rob Blackman because people get us confused. On behalf of both of us, thanks for all your support. And make sure you get out there, sign our petitions, you donate, you get Dave in office at the CorpCom, and continue to work for our district. Everybody take care. God bless. See you around.